Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. How the heck are you? Today we're gonna have a conversation that has to be had. It's been had in the community since last week's content drop, and that is the focus of today's episode as well. This is not intended to be like a pile-on or a piggyback or a copycat. This is just my genuine thoughts on the state of content in MLB The Show 25. Power creep, good thing. We're fans of the power creep. The structure is not the problem. It's just the card decisions and the card builds and some of the other stuff, which we'll talk about. But if you have any thoughts at all during this conversation, please put them in the comments down below. These types of conversations often be pretty... Excuse me. Let's roll that one back. These types of conversations often tend to be... Now we're on the right track. Pretty divisive in the community. A lot of people have pretty steadfast thoughts on how they think things should go. There is no right answer. Or maybe there is, but none of us individually have the right answer. The only way to come to the right answer is to collaborate in a place where we can get everybody to get the things they want. That's not always possible. Fully understand that. But that's the way it is. So let's talk about content. Let's get into the damn thing. I want to start off with a boilerplate statement. Important to keep this top of mind for everybody. I am not asking for the best cards in the game to be hand-fed to me. That's everyone's first chief complaint all the time whenever anybody makes any sort of comment about this. Like, oh, you just want cards given to you. No. It's not what I want. I think there should be certain things that are either attainable via this or via an accomplishment or something. I think it's a healthy game environment when you have to try hard, not in the try hard sense, but like you have to try hard. You have to try, put effort in to receive something. So, now that we've cleared the air on that topic that for some reason makes people very annoyed, let's talk about the content. So, on Friday, Weekend Classic came out. Actually thought Weekend Classic, for me, my experience, played reasonably well. This is not about the Weekend Classic this episode, but I will just start there right quick. I went 11-3, I think my record was. Where does it say record? Doesn't it say it somewhere? Yeah, there you go. 11-3. I'm second on the leaderboard behind somebody who's boosted. I had somebody check their game log. Shout out Roger. And I've reported them. So I hope to finish first. We'll see. The only reason I played so many Weekend Classic games is because I realized you can gain rating points with your wins, which I don't think happened last time. So, you'll notice a big fat shiny 1000 rated icon. I reached 1000 rating without playing a single game on higher difficulty than Hall of Fame. Everything was Hall of Fame. Is this a Mickey Mouse 1000 rating? Yes. I don't give a shit. If that's the way they programmed it, I'm taking advantage of it. It's not an exploit either, because I still had to play the games and win the games. It just was on Hall of Fame instead. So I have a 1000 rated icon now, and I hope everybody who plays me pisses their pants when they see it. The rewards from Weekend Classic, the Giancarlo Stanton is so-so. I am a big Giancarlo Stanton fan in terms of his cards. This one's whatever. Not a big deal. Built just fine. This Rhino Sandberg is actually pretty decent. He is my God Squad 2B right now. That will change soon. And it will change because of a guy we are going to spend a lot of time talking about in this episode. Let's talk about the third inning program. Cornerstone guys, kind of boring this time. If you're an Orioles fan, Jim Palmer's big for you. Justin Turner's probably going to be the most popular. He is a bench bat for sure. The diamond version of him, obviously, not the gold version. Rakes against lefties. Ralph Kiner, for me, personally, more of a binder filler type of guy. He is okay in platoon situations. I don't like hitting with him against right-handed pitching, but he is what he is. The big conversation here at Matt Cain, by the way, a nice whatever card. Typically not great. Last year he wasn't very good, but I'm willing to give him another shot. The big conversation, though, where we'll start here is with these three bosses. They are two lefty platoon bats, or platoon bats against lefties, and then Eric Gagne, who I think is going to be the runaway favorite here. I'm a big fan of Bernie Williams' swing. I liked his card last year, his 99. I think it was an action figure card. Was very, very good. What SDS has done And I think this is... So here's a situation where intent and execution don't match up, but I do think the intent here was good. People see Bernie Williams and they see Trevor Story, and they're like, oh, they suck against righties and crush lefties. Well, SDS has recognized that they have flooded the meta with left-handed starters. How are they counteracting that? They're giving us hitters who crush lefties. Intent there is good. Good intent. Claps for intent. We like when decisions are made intentionally and not just willy-nilly thrown out there. Important that thought is put into these things. So good there. But the problem is there are also right-handed pitchers, especially out of bullpens. And these guys are not as great against righties. Now, Trevor Story's clutch is 91. Bernie Williams' clutch is 111. Situationally, it'll play, but just all in all, a little disappointing to see such poor attributes against right-handed pitching, if I'm being honest. I don't think Bernie Williams cracks the starting lineup for me. I do think he's a bench option for sure. Trevor Story, as much as I love Trevor Story cards, and this card otherwise is pretty okay. 99 durability is hysterical, by the way, because A, he's not durable, and B, that inflates his overall, so take some of that durability away and throw it into something else, damn it. That's the hill I'm dying on this year. But regardless, he probably doesn't make my lineup either, though he is a little closer than Bernie. These cards were a little more disappointing, but these cards I don't think are meant to change the game. They're free and attainable through the XP reward path. They're not the crux of the conversation today. The crux of the conversation today is twofold. We're going to talk about Spotlight, because that's important, and we're going to talk about the Chase Pack card. So let's talk about Spotlight first. It's here, and then it's here. And then, well, I guess the Spotlight collection more so. But let's just start here anyway, because they all blend together. So this Spotlight 5 drop gave us some okay cards. Not Brendan Donovan. This Luke Weaver will be in a lot of bullpens. Max hit per 9, max pitch and clutch. An example of a reliever built incredibly well. Doesn't necessarily have the pitch mix, but this is a good card. Pete Alonso is where I really want to begin the depth of this conversation. I am not here to tell you what cards to use. I can give you suggestions on what I like. That's not me forcing you to do it. Ultimately, use the swings you're good with. In that vein, I was a little disappointed with Corbin Carroll being the Spotlight Player of the Month super duper award card. I hate, even with his new swing, the Jackson Merrill swing, I don't like that swing either. I'm not a fan of the Corbin Carroll swing. It's a card that's, like, in my opinion, just whatever. Like, it left some to be desired for me. I would have loved a killer Pete Alonso card as the Player of the Month, because you could argue Pete also deserved it. And I'm not saying Corbin didn't deserve it. Corbin has had one hell of a year so far. But this Pete Alonso card has carried me in Weekend Classic, because it's a diamond Pete Alonso. I'm very good with Pete Alonso cards. And we're hitting 370 all on Hall of Fame, which is not, some people have far better averages, but I'm happy with that. 9 ding-dongs. He's been great. And he's built well. Let's talk about why he's built well. This is an important conversation to have. Pete doesn't field, and he doesn't run. So that means they can put all of his rating points into shit that matters. Like power, like clutch. Even his vision ain't bad. And contacts are reasonably good. That's because he hit 358. This is an incredible build for Pete Alonso. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the case, and I'll have to be corrected if I'm wrong. I'm not claiming this as gospel, but I am pretty positive. Fielding, a player's fielding rating, affects you differently based on the position you play if it's important defensively. So center field, for example, your fielding rating will carry more weight in your overall rating, because center field defense is important. That's why Pete Crow Armstrong, that's why his card is so good, or rated so highly. Defense matters less on a first baseman. So, whatever. But still, this Pete Alonso, fun, great, grand. Imagine if we could have built him like a 92, or I think that's what the Corbin Carroll was. A few more points to be thrown around here and there. Perfect example of why the card build system is stinky caca. This is an extension, by the way, in some respects, of the episode last week. This Wyatt Langford was the final, he's not really a boss, but like the big guy for this program, for April Drop 5. He plays the field well and he's fast. Therefore, his hitting stinks in this game. Even though he led the Rangers with 5 homers and a 1. OPS in April. In the power creep, which again is a good thing, with the way cards are built by SDS, which is, we're starting to be very skeptical of, you get punished for being a 5-tool player. Punished. You don't get rewarded, you get punished for being a 5-tool player. That's an inherent flaw in the system somewhere. I don't know how we fix it, but somewhere there's a flaw. You know, attributes like durability and discipline mean a ton in offline sim modes and franchise. Very important. Very, very important. In Diamond Dynasty, they mean durability means literally nothing. Discipline means next to nothing. Everybody yelled at me last week that I said discipline is meaningless. Guys, discipline does not affect check swings anymore. I thought that was common knowledge. It does not. Discipline affects your way to get out of the way of a pitch, which hardly comes into play. It is as close to a meaningless attribute as you can get. Check swings are vision and input based. So you know. So there needs to be a way, in my opinion, of separating the offline attributes from the online attributes. That sounds like such an impossible task and probably unlikely to ever happen because it makes the work doubly as difficult because you're building a card twice every time you create a card. But that's where I'm at. This spills into... Where does this spill into? Where do I want to go next? Do I want to go with the big Spotlight collection? Let's do that. Because we're on the topic of Spotlight. Carlos Santana came out last week. Boy, did I not like this choice. I have no distaste for real-life Carlos Santana. But when I said that there are 28,000 plus major leaguers to give a Retro Lightning to, yet you gave me another Carlos Santana on Twitter, someone told me to STFU. That means shut the front door. I told them, no, I will not shut the front door. Because we could have chosen anybody. But aside from the card choice is whatever. He is a fun card. I've just seen a lot of Carlos Santana over the years. It's built reasonably well. Kind of built like most low diamond Carlos Santana cards. Like nothing new to report here. The issue is not the card. The issue is this. You had to collect 13 pack-related Spotlight cards to get Carlos Santana. These cards are not attainable for free. In every Spotlight drop, you get 1 free pack, and you hope it looks like a Spotlight card. If it looks like a Topps Now card, it's a waste. This collection... I have thoughts on this collection. I hate it. I really hate it. I really think it is... what's the best word here? It's very... what's the word? Money hungry is not right. Greedy's not right. It's just a very out of touch collection. That's how I'm going to phrase it for now. You guys probably have better words for it. This collection costs, if each one is $30K, like 300 plus, almost 400,000 stubs to get Carlos Santana. I saw someone put it as this is like your weekly tax to play this game if you want to do these collections. Because every week you have to buy the 2, or in this last case, 5 Spotlight cards from packs. That's a giant slap in the face. And I categorically do not like the way this was presented. I just don't. And no one can convince me this way of dropping this was okay. You are asking people, and listen, very important sidebar here. This game is not pay to win. It's not pay to play. Sometimes it's pay to have a little more fun with better cards, but ultimately you can win against anybody with anybody. So pay to win, it's not pay to win. Also, MLB The Show, in comparison to other Ultimate Team modes, it is easier, so much easier, to earn stubs for free by playing in this game than any other game. It is. That can be true, and what I'm about to say can be true. This is like almost not predatory. It's a little aggressive, but like this is just unacceptable. I don't want Carlos Santana given to me for free. It's not what I want. I don't want it to be a 5-second thing. Just put him at the end of a program or something. A program that requires some playing. I do not like, ever since they moved the Spotlight / Tops Now / monthly awards cards to pack-based, more pack-based, more pack-heavy, pack-forward, it has represented a steer in the wrong direction. I am just very unhappy with this. You know, it's going to take some people a very long time to get some of these big juicy cards they want. And not all these cards are meant to be gotten right away, especially Live Series, especially Scott Rowland. But there's now like a pile-on effect going on. And the more people feel as if they are falling behind, even though they're not, but they might feel as if they're falling behind because they don't have Beltron yet. They're starting to play a lot more lineups with collections done. They don't have Rowland. They don't have Santana. They're going to start to feel as if they're falling behind, and they're just going to give up. And if you're close to that, please don't give up. Please don't. We want you to stay and play and have fun. We recognize that a lot of the people who share their opinions publicly on this game, share a similar opinion that this is not okay. It's just not okay. And now we're going to make matters worse by talking about this next thing. The best card released on Friday was a chase pack. And I am okay. I am very okay with the best cards being in chase packs. Let those be expensive. Let those be hard to get. That is not the issue here. The issue here is that this card is so much better than all the stuff dropped on Friday. And this card cracked open the case for me. This card showed me that SDS knows how to nerf useless attributes to make cards good, but they are just choosing not to do so on most of their drops. So let's talk about Willie Castro, who right now, at time of recording, is 300k. I'm about 100k away from him. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This is a card everyone needs to have. I'm going to say, I just told you could be good with any card you want. That's true. This is going to be the best non-live collection card for at least a month, maybe longer. This card says 93. It looks like a 96. Why? Because they realized that you don't need max durability. He has 79 durability. Why? Because they wanted to put it into other attributes. His discipline's only a 55. Why? Because they wanted to put it to other attributes. His stealing and base running aggressiveness. Stealing is 0, base running is 2. Stealing hurts him a little bit. I'll give him that. But base running aggressiveness almost means nothing. This card is built like SDS wanted to create a superhuman demon. This card is built by somebody who knows we as online Diamond Dynasty players do not care about durability. If you play offline sim, very different conversation. I am not trying to alienate you in this topic. But strictly speaking, from an online Diamond Dynasty perspective, this card is nuts. Nuts, crazy. And the fact that they dropped it during a period of time where it was already very vocal about how, like, the last roster update skewed all these overalls into making us think cards are either better than they were or the same as they were because they just toyed with some durability or some discipline. And then they dropped this on our faces. This card shows me that SDS knows how to build a God Squad card. And can do it at the drop of a hat whenever they want. Willie Castro is a fan favorite after last year's gold BR card was like, I mean, he was incredible. That was one of the best cards I've ever used anywhere, BR or otherwise. That card was insane. I have already heard reviews that this card plays exactly the same as that. I am very excited for the day I can add him to my lineup because I think he'll be there for a little bit. The way in which the card was dropped during the point in time we were talking about all these card build things, and then for it to be far and away, or at least on equal footing to the Santana card, I think it's better than the Carlos Santana card, is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. We're not going to like every content drop, guys. We're just not. We're not going to like every content drop because real life doesn't often line up with video game world. Reason that I just gave before. Like, I was not super thrilled with the Corbin Carroll Spotlight guy. He's not my favorite swing. Sometimes the best performer in real life is going to have a crapola swing in this game. Like when Lightning Aaron Judge came out a few years ago, and he was basically used by nobody. So, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Anecdotally speaking, my just brain melted for a second. Because his swing stinks. You know, only Scan uses Aaron Judge all year long. Shout out to Scan. We cannot always control who gets the cards. So we're not going to like every content drop. I'm not here to tell you we need to be in love with player choices for every single content drop. Because we won't. That's just the realism of this whole thing. And it's useless to only complain, or it's useless to complain all the time. Because if you complain all the time, your complaints mean nothing. It's like the boy who cried wolf. What we can do is give constructive feedback on like the ways in which things are built or displayed or presented to us. And this ain't doing it for me. This is getting to the point where now it's a little aggressive. You know, you're asking players now who already don't play as much as, like, I mean, I play more than 99% of the population. I understand that. It's how I have so many of the cards I have. But there are people who work hard during the day and then parent or then do this or then do that. And they play this game 5 hours a week. And for some people, 5 hours a week might be too generous. They're now hopping online to play people with Live Series done, Roland done, Santana done, Willie Castro, Brian Reynolds, Randy Johnson, John Donaldson. We can keep going down the list. I'm trying not to make it a excuse here where, like, obviously if you play more, you should have more. I get that. But the piling on aspect is really starting to become apparent. If you don't play this, if you don't know life this game, or if you don't swipe your credit card, or if you don't, you know, have the best pack luck you've ever seen, you're not going to have all this stuff. And the card builds, man, that's what gets me. Because the free content is clearly so much worse, mostly speaking, than the stuff that you need to spend 300,000 stubs on. And by the way, 300,000 stubs, just in case people don't always equate it this way. I'm not buying stubs right now. 300,000 stubs is $200. You've just created a $200 chase card. So you're asking people to either A, never have Willie Castro, or B, pay $200 on the spot to have him. Or invest the time. You know, whatever. I don't love that. That doesn't sit right with me. I don't know the correct answer on how to fix this. It's a path they've been going down for a few years now. You know, as I've said, we could course correct on a lot of this stuff just by building the free cards smarter. As I said, also, like, intentionality. Bernie Williams and Trevor Story are built with intention. They are built to counteract all of the lefty dominant aces in the game, and that's a good thing. But we could still pull their durability back a little bit, especially Trevor Story, who's been hurt his entire career. And, you know, like, we can make these cards better. I'm not asking for all 99s. The power creep is great. Love the power creep. They have been doing a very good job of giving us a lot of different options at every position. Doesn't mean every option they give us is incredible, but we have a lot of options. We cannot ignore that. There are a lot of cards available to us. And you don't need necessarily the best card in the game to be a top player. It helps, especially on GOAT. That's a different conversation. But I am just unhappy with the pretty, like, overt blatancy behind how they're making these cards and giving them to us, and then saying, hey, if you want the shiny best card in the game, pony up them stubs. Chase packs are a good and bad thing for that reason. It's good to have some exclusivity. Exclusivity makes these games worth playing. It makes you strive for something. It makes you work for something. But when you promise us this massive content drop, and it's largely underwhelming, and then you put the two best cards, Santana behind 400,000 stubs roughly, and Willie Castro behind 300,000 stubs, that is not okay. I don't like it. And I don't care if you disagree with me. You can disagree with me, and you're allowed to have that opinion, but I don't care if you do disagree with me. Because this is the way I feel about it. That's it. That's how opinions work. We all have them. We all think our own opinion's right. But it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't feel as inclusive as it should. You're not putting skill gaps behind things, guys. You're putting monetary gaps behind, monetary gaps behind things. I don't know. For those of you guys who are still here, again, your reminder, your call to action. What do you think? What are your opinions on how the content is looking? Or the content strategies are looking? Again, we are getting consistent content drops. We are getting a lot of card options. Diamond Quest is still one of the best things that's ever happened at MLB The Show. There are a lot of things to do this year. Online gameplay is a little whack. But we got to iron out the content. We got to make the content a little more balanced. And that's my say. So thank you guys for making it to the end of this episode. I do love you all so much. There's a chance there is no Wednesday video this week. I am recouping from not feeling well. I feel like I've worked for 3 weeks straight. So I basically have. So I might just take a day for myself. But don't worry, content will be coming at the end of the week. And yeah, love you guys. See you next time.